Okay. Oh, yellow dot. That's interesting.
Yeah, we get well, I assume we're live and we're coming into
Yeah,
this
we are.
pretty soft,
Just
but
curious.
the yellow dot happens sometimes now that we have Periscope added. Periscope gets like a weirdly different bit rate, and that seems to be the issue. So, yeah, if you go to like the settings in YouTube, it's usually like, hey, everything's great. Anyway, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. We're live. Also, you're not on the screen on the stream.
Oh, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was wondering why you're on Skype today, but yeah, that's because you're not on there. Anyway, we're live, guys. Welcome to the Osmo.com Live Before Lock show. I'm Chris Spags. Somewhere hidden in the background is the disembodied ghost of Josh Engelman, the Chubster. Josh, how are you doing?
Just for the record, I'm not going to be able to fix this, so I have an idea, but it can't be fixed without stopping the stream.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, well, are you going to be able to add Alex?
Yeah. Nothing's going to be a problem there. So my camera is in Skype right now, not in OBS. And I didn't notice it because I haven't been using Skype, so it didn't cross my mind. But we'll plug that hole a little bit. Look, my face is relatively irrelevant during this, so...
True. And they see a lot of your face. Your face is on a lot of things on the channel. Josh has been doing videos all day, breaking down this riveting 3-game slate we have in front of us. Technically 4, I guess, if you're playing FanDuel, right? It is 4 if you're playing FanDuel?
Yes.
Yeah,
there we go. I added my Bitmoji.
Just floating around.
Like I can see myself in the preview on Skype. I wonder if I could turn that off and get on here at all.
Now you're gone on Skype.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be able to save this.
Well, you know, at least we have the Bitmoji there. It's like you're there. It's just like I'm talking to you. What a fun day.
I can unplug my camera and then plug it back in. But go ahead, give everybody the spiel for the day. Tell everybody about how awesome Fantasy Cruncher is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fantasy Cruncher is now going to be an offering as part of our premium services. There'll be an exclusive version of Fantasy Cruncher available for all of the customers of Osmo. I don't have the price point in front of me right now, but there will be a free preview going on for all of our premium members this weekend. So now's as good a time as any to get on board with our premium memberships. Again, Fantasy Cruncher will be a partner of ours officially now. They will have Osmo's rankings and ownership projections reflected in the premium version of Fantasy Cruncher that we're rolling out just for our members. So that is coming soon. We've heard all the things. Months of negotiation and haggling have finally resulted in this happening. So we're happy to be working with Fantasy Cruncher. You know, they've given us free things. They are the leading optimizer in the game. And now they will be injected with a bit of our special brand of awesome-ness. And there's Josh. We got stuff going on. We're growing by the moment.
Yeah, you know, just doing this on the fly, perfect time, I would imagine.
And we are also to celebrate this monumentous occasion
back,
and also wait, what is going on?
I'm back on the screen. It's me, my face, my real face, not my cartoon face.
Well, I knew that. I saw that already. And also Slack is opening for me now for some reason.
Oh, things are going great today. What a great slate.
But we are going to have our founder, Osmo, Alex Baker, is going to be on the stream in just 5 short minutes. We are going to talk about the 3-game MLB slate. We are going to talk about the NFL slate. We're going to talk about the NFL season. But we're going to talk a little showdown strategy as well. And after us, we'll be coming up Laffy and Andrew. They'll be breaking down some more NFL for you, taking you right through to the kickoff for the year. Finally, Philadelphia and Atlanta going for the NFL tonight, and those guys will talk at length about that right after we are. So the live streams just keep on coming.
Yes, they do. They don't stop.
They do not stop. But you know what? You can pick and choose the ones you want, but Laffy and Andrew will do a good job taking you through. You know, showdown slates can be confusing. A lot of people also, I've learned, are not aware of the captain mode at all, which thankfully I learned during NBA playoff season. But captain mode is an interesting little wrinkle, but we'll ask Alex's thoughts about that as well. Before we get to it all, before we get to Alex, I guess in particular, Josh, what are you seeing so far from your crunches?
That's what we're going to take a walk through, actually. I haven't done a single crunch yet in the afternoon with all the locked lineups. So I'm handling that right now. I'm going to go through my entire like exactly what I'm going to be doing for tonight from start to finish.
So there you go. You are learning firsthand how to use Fantasy Cruncher now that it's part of our offerings. The Fantasy Cruncher trial, as the baseball savant Jake Hari points out in the chat, will be available hopefully Saturday, but we're working through some nuts and bolts things. But obviously, check all of the usual channels. The information will be out there, as we always do. It'll be on Twitter. It'll be on the site. It'll be on a variety of locations on how to access it. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's exciting. The fact that we're going to have it as like our own module and have our ownership and projections and Alex's rankings loaded in for everyone automatically is, I mean, that's a really crazy amount of information getting added into Fantasy Cruncher that wasn't normally there previously. It doesn't really get much better than that.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is exactly what we've been hoping for.
Yeah.
We've been, our guys behind the scenes, Tom in particular, our COO, better known as Tom JK321 on all the sites, a top player in the DFS world across a bunch of sports. Been working behind the scenes to get this done for a while now, so we're excited about it. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. But this weekend will be free, and it will be an add-on in the future for a price that is, I believe, yet to be determined, or at least yet to be announced. So keep your eye out for that.
Nothing crazy, to my knowledge.
Nothing. It's a good deal. It is a certified good deal as we try to take over this industry bit by bit.
So far, so good.
I have FC and Osmo subscription separate. Can I cancel the FC and upgrade my Osmo subscription? I mean, you can. I think that would depend, though, on the price you got in on FC. If you got in super early, I think you might have a grandfathered price. But yeah, I don't. Just keep an eye, Rosemont. Keep an eye out. We got more coming. We just have enough to make the announcement for now.
Yeah, I can't speak to your previous, or we can't speak to your previous Fantasy Cruncher pricing. Would be the easiest way to say that.
There are a variety of prices that have floated out there for many DFS industries that are hard to keep track of. So we don't know, but ours is a better deal than what you can currently get just walking in off the street. Yes. All right. Assuming we're doing Reds with Indians, I guess do you have any thoughts on that? To be honest, I didn't prep that game at all, as I'm not a FanDuel player, and it just wasn't on the site I use for lineups for DraftKings. So any thoughts on the Reds game, I guess, overall?
Yeah, when I did my original crunch this morning, the Reds were my #1 stack of the day, so I'm really anxious to plug that back in. I should probably start with FanDuel now that I think about it, since that's locking in a half hour.
Yeah, no, that would be helpful. Yes, the FanDuel slate does lock very shortly, so we'll talk to that. Actually, you just want to get Alex on now, and maybe he'll give us some FanDuel color.
Yeah, that'll be perfect.
All right, so Josh will bring on Alex. Alex Baker, better known as Osmo, the founder of our site, top DFS player in the world. Yes, Noah Rosen. So the Ohtani dong worked out. Damn Spags. Yes, Ohtani at 9% ownership on DraftKings felt very good.
It did not work out. I disagree completely.
It was a double dong. It was our third double dong call of the year. I have 2. Jake has 1, and I'm not even saying this to troll Josh. Josh has 0 double. But I'm proud of mine.
Die.
The more dongs, the better.
That's boss in the house.
Oh, there we go. We got Alex. Welcome, Alex, to the live stream. How are you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
We're good. We're ready for a very slow MLB slate and a first start to the NFL season, so we're excited for that. We'll get your kind of NFL thoughts a little bit in a bit, but let's talk FanDuel real fast since those people are dying for information right now. How are you approaching the extra game, Alex? Do you see any value there that you're trying to tell the FanDuel people to get on board with?
Yeah, definitely. I think maybe like people will forget about the early lock tonight or not even realize it, and we'll have some overlay. So one of the guys that I'm really looking at is Luis Castillo. He's been pretty good this year so far, and the price point is good. And I think that the matchup, I mean, is amazing versus San Diego. So what's not to love, right?
There you go. So that's probably all the FanDuel information people need, but that is a pretty good pivot point for some of the other pitching in the DK slate, which is pretty terrible. How would you approach a slate like the DK slate tonight? Or I guess, the FanDuel one as well, only one more game isn't a big difference. How do you tackle that, Alex, when you're trying to figure out how to be contrarian but not miss the main points of value in a slate?
Well, a 4-game slate is really interesting because there tend to be some guys that are really, really strong plays and kind of like in unfadable territory where like they're too good, and there's not enough ways to spend the salary like other than just taking them. Uh, Tonight, hold on, let me bring up my lineups here.
Yeah, bring up all your lineups. That way I know what to fade. Ooh, burn.
Oh shit!
He got you there.
Man, just don't pick my home run pick. Those never work out.
Still have the best rate. Your home runs are, granted it's a smaller sample size, which obviously we look for the larger one, but your home run rate is tops, boss.
Yeah, I mean the trick is you gotta pick guys like Tommy Pham that no one else would even like suspect, right?
Or Shohei Ohtani coming off of a serious elbow injury, as only the brave would have done. But
So I just have a question about our system. So if a guy hits like 2 home runs, like Ohtani did last night, do you get credit for 2, or is it just 1?
It's just 1. Technically, the double dongs are a tiebreaker we established early on. Unfortunately, that doesn't help me right now as we're down the stretch run. But for tiebreaker purposes, I guess it does.
I think it should count. I mean, that would make it a lot more interesting. Like that Scooter Gennett game last year where he had like 4 home runs. That would be like insane, right?
That would be like getting like a double bonus thing. I would be into it, but I go with the rules that we established. I'm a stickler for the negotiation you do up front. Speaking of which, Alex, let's talk about the negotiation we're doing up front in NFL this year. And the showdown slate in particular, because a lot of people seem confused by the captain thing. If you're a premium member of Vossmo.com, we do have projections up for the showdown slate to go check out. But how do you tackle that? What do you do for a showdown slate, I guess, with the captain? How do you kind of negotiate the different values involved with that?
So I think that obviously you want the highest scoring player of the slate as your captain if you're going to win $1 million or something. So it all comes down to kind of figuring out what the likelihood of that is going to be by position. I think most weeks, if you look at the top 10 fantasy scorers of the week, it's usually running backs or wide receivers topping the list. I think usually more running backs than wide receivers, but there tend to be more high-scoring running backs on average, like just by raw projection. But wide receivers have a lot more variance than running backs. So the chance that a wide receiver is the top play of the night kind of exceeds an equivalently projected running back. I think today, it's a pretty easy decision because the 2 running backs, or I guess there are 3 kind of viable ones. There's Ajayi, Freeman, and Coleman. And none of them are really the type of guys that are fantasy monsters. Like Ajayi has limited pass catching ability, and then Freeman and Coleman are kind of in a time split. So it makes more sense to go for a guy like Zach Ertz or Julio Jones, in my opinion.
Yeah, Julio, obviously one of the highest targeted players in the NFL, and they have shown a commitment to getting the ball in the red zone more after kind of doing a pretty poor job there. So I'm with you on Julio. I think that he's a pretty good spot. The captain thing is different because I think I'm still have, Alex, I know you were playing those as well during the NBA playoffs, the showdowns every day. That was a really good training ground for picking captains, but I don't know how much those skills are going to port over. I know for NBA, it was about getting like a guy who's not top of the price range, a little bit lower, but who's going to have the best value proposition was what mostly worked for me there.
Yeah, I think there's a big difference in NBA versus NFL, though, because in NBA, it's rare that you have a lineup that isn't capped out in salary. That would be like the perfect lineup. So that kind of created a incentive to go for guys that are different, like not LeBron James, basically, because it's tougher to find guys that have a good shot to have good nights in NBA. In NFL tonight, it's like a different situation because I know the Eagles have 2 of their main wide receivers out with Alshon Jeffrey and Matt Collins. And so I'm seeing a lot of $200 players that could get decent scores. So I'm thinking that getting under the salary cap isn't going to be particularly hard today.
Yeah, I do think too. Some of the people are touting. I think one of the $200 wide receivers for the Eagles, and I forget which one it is, but I think people are forgetting Mike Wallace is on this team now too, and that is another big play guy who is cheap. I mean, relative to some of the other dudes, but I don't know. I think people are kind of are missing the forest from the trees a little with some of their picks tonight. I saw in our Slack a lot of the guys mining for gold with the Dallas Goddards of the world when you got Mike Wallace right there. Big play, Mike Wallace.
Yeah, actually, I like Mike Wallace tonight, and I'm looking at the lineups from my crunch here. I actually didn't end up with any of the $200 guys. I'm guessing it's just because the value isn't hard enough to come by to really make it worth diving down there. One piece of recommendation I have for you guys, if you're using Fantasy Cruncher to build your lineups, I forgot this myself, is you want to set like the offensive players versus defense feature, because otherwise you're totally excluding defenders because it defaults to 0. Or I mean, not defenders, like the defensive overall. And I know on DraftKings you can roster like a defense, which maybe that might be a sneaky one to get in there because people won't like to roster a defense versus a couple guys on the other team.
Yeah, defense or kickers, they're both are available in the showdowns, which is one noticeable difference for some of the other sports. And you can get a little weird with it if you want. I don't know. I guess, would you think that playing a defense or kicker might be a plus EV spot? I mean, it seems like there is a world where that could occur and be viable, especially in a millionaire maker type of situation. But I guess how, like, relative to the rest of the players, how much would you play a kicker or defense?
It all comes down to the value because basically you're going to need the top 6 scoring players on DraftKings and 5 scoring on FanDuel. And let's see, I have the kickers projected for around 8 points. If they like get a few points above that, that's a pretty good night. And they're only 4K. The value is pretty good. So I think there's a pretty reasonable chance the kicker could be in winning lineup tonight. For defense, I like the Falcons more than the Eagles because they're cheaper, and they're going up against Nick Foles, he is not as good as Carson Wentz. Throws a lot more picks. I think that makes them a really good value tonight.
He won a quarterback. He's incredible. Or he won a Super Bowl. He's an incredible quarterback.
My bad. I didn't mean to offend anyone here.
Sorry, you're not offending me. I hate the Eagles.
And one benefit to the Falcons too, they are pretty good in the red zone. As part of our football prep, I have been analyzing this stuff, and that was one thing we talked about in our preview videos. Is that the Falcons held up pretty well in the red zone, despite no real reason why we could tell why that would be. So it's a benefit if you are going to play the Falcons defense. Let's go a little bit back to baseball while we have you here for a few more minutes, Alex. You wrote your perfect pitcher article up today where you're breaking down the likelihood of each pitcher to finish atop the slate. How are you, I guess, what are you looking at for pitcher on the slate? Obviously, pretty much everybody, I would assume. But is there anybody that jumps out as being a guy you just don't want to roster on, even on a short slate like this?
Yeah, so I broke it down. I think there are 4 of the 6 players are like pretty like playable on DraftKings. Greinke, Bieber, Strasburg, and Sanchez. And then the other 2 I'm not as keen on, Hendricks and remind me who the other one is.
Sam Gaviglio.
Gaviglio. Neither of those really are worth diving down for because salary cap isn't too restrictive tonight. So I'm just going with those 4. I might have a little Hendricks, but I'm not really seeing his name a lot in my lineups here. But yeah, I think any combination of those is pretty good. And honestly, I don't think there's like a huge edge tonight as far as pitching, just because there's so like few options.
And then I guess stack-wise, some of the stacks, I guess here's more of a general kind of construction question. Some of the stacks, like let's say you put the Blue Jays in there, you're trying to be contrarian and go against Bieber and take the lowest owned stack besides, I guess, McKinney. How much money are you comfortable leaving on a table in a spot like that, where if you have a 5-man Blue Jay stack, you may be leaving like $3,000 on the table? Is that something you would be willing to do on a slate of this size?
I think that you can definitely leave money on the table. But I'm just concerned that like doing something like that might not be as contrarian as you think because, like there's only 6 teams to pick from, and I think all 6 are going to have pretty good ownership, or at least more than the kind of like couple percent that you really want if you're going to be like super sneaky, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that makes
Chris,
sense.
do you have a Blue Jays stack with $3,000 on the table? Was this I have a friend who's playing DFS questions for tonight?
I may have one. I mean, it may have come up. I mean, I know I still try to spend.
Sounded like I need this information personally.
I know if I'm running into a situation that users may run into the same situation. It's pick the brain of the guy you have. I have access. I might as well ask.
Just checking. I thought so.
Alex, I guess before we let you go and worry about this multitude of options in front of you, we do have to do the home run picks. We always like to get yours in first to set the table. They've been pretty good more often than not, despite your self-effacing remarks early on. Who would you pick on this very shortened home run slate? Not many options. Who would you go with?
I'll go a little contrarian here and pick against one of the top pitchers. I'll go with Ronald Acuna. I think that he's a pretty good chance to hit that leadoff dong. I know he's hit a few of those before, so let's see what happens tonight.
I'm going to tell you right now that was going to be my picks.
So come on.
It's fine. I like Acuna. I like Greinke maybe getting hit hard in the beginning a little. So, but you know what? That's a great pick, boss. You are talking to a guy who picked Shohei Ohtani last night bravely amongst the doubters like Josh Engelman. We persevered.
30% Ohtani last night. Why am I a doubter?
The haters and doubters, of which there are many, of me and Shohei Ohtani came through. So Acuna is a great pick.
Thank you. Yeah, Josh, remember to fade him tonight.
Let's see how much. Do I have him? I don't think I even have him. Yeah, I have literally no Acuna shares on FanDuel right now. So
wow,
that's a great sign.
So there you go. Lock it in. Lock in that Acuna dong right now. Any parting words to everybody before? I know we've had a lot of activity going on. We mentioned the Fantasy Cruncher partnership coming up. Alex, is there anything else you want to get out to the folks before we let you go to work and make the money that pays us?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you guys mentioned the Fantasy Cruncher thing. We're really excited about that. Trying to use some of their new features that they came out with that allow you to add some more stats. I'm sure we're going to put our ownership on there and stuff like that using that. Thanks for everyone for listening. And if you haven't already checked out the NFL stuff on the site, it's all up for tonight and also for the weekend. So really excited to see how these slates turn out.
Yeah, it's a big week one for us NFL-wise. Our promo code NFLA20 is still going where you get $20 off for our all-access season-long pass. So get in there and keep an eye out for Alex's ownership projections, which will be coming out on Saturday. The most up-to-date information you'll have. Tell people about the tender love and care you put into the ownership projections, Alex, because that is something that we do value on our site more than anything else.
Well, we have to go back and check the accuracy of these projections because the field is constantly changing, but we're putting in all that work so you don't have to.
There you go. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you, Alex, for joining us at Osmo DFS, and we will talk to you again soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
Later, boss. Go Greinke.
There you go. The boss man picks Acuna. You don't go against Acuna, but there's our boss, Alex Baker, the #1 player in DFS. You know him as Osmo. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Osmo DFS. And to keep an eye out for all of his rankings and projections, which are coming out for the NFL over the coming days. And we do have the showdown slate up right now for the premium folks. So go check that out right now. Acuna, I'm actually a little upset about that. I felt good about that pick.
I'm happy that he just sniped your pick more than you know.
It sucks because so yesterday Jake and I both picked Trevor Story, and then we were both were like, you can't pick Trevor Story, and I feel like Acuna was that guy for me too. I was like, I would just go Acuna just straight away, but not today. I don't know who to pick now. Josh, do you have your pick?
Yeah, I do have my pick.
Go ahead. I'll let you make it first.
Let me make sure that I'm not wrong, that I was looking at it correctly. It started bouncing around after that. I would like Yonder Alonso.
Okay.
That was going to be my pick. If I didn't have Acuna, I was going to go with Yonder Alonso.
I hate Yonder Alonso.
Okay, so this one will feel even better when he puts one in the cheap seats.
You may very well. I don't. Now I really have no clue who to pick. You know what? Actually, it's not a great pick for him on this side of the plate, though. I can't go. I was thinking Camargo. Not going to go Camargo. You know, I'm gonna go Billy McKinney.
I don't hate it. Billy McKinney,
Lefties.
2 spots behind Yonder Alonso.
All right, so we're right in range then. Yeah, McKinney, if you're hitting leadoff, he's a good hitter. Bieber, we've talked about his struggles versus lefties. It's pretty much an ongoing theme of the show for weeks now. So, yeah, Billy McKinney is my guy, but Acuna is one after my heart.
I've got my info now, if it helps.
Okay, yeah. If you want to run through people, we'll keep an eye out to see if the baseball savant has a home run pick in the chat.
Yeah.
Jake is reeling from my home run pick yesterday. He was probably pretty rattled, not even able to muster one up today. But
yeah, Reds, Cubs, and Diamondbacks top stacks for me. I do like the Indians quite a bit, but I like them a lot more on DraftKings than I do on FanDuel. And I mean, that's about it. I'm not playing very much Strasburg. He's at 50% expected ownership on DK right now. I'm only playing 16. Everything that Jake and I looked at this morning looks very similar to Danny Duffy.
Oh, by the way, we didn't talk about that, but do we think he was hurt before going into that, or did he get hurt as part of that process?
He was hurt for probably 2 or 3 games prior to that, is my guess.
That was one thing we didn't talk about, which I thought was a pretty astute call, where you were like, yeah, I don't know, his velocity's down, and then he literally lasted 1 inning. And
I can't take all the credit for it. That was something that Adam pointed out. So check out the process show, and you get those sorts of nuggets.
Yeah, hold on, let me put in your Yonder Alonso.
Yeah, it took him about 45 minutes before he was like, you know what, I'm going to shut this shit down for the season.
Yeah, it was just funny that we talked about it that day, and he was just like literally done the moment that it occurred.
20 Rick. No, there's not. To my knowledge, there's not going to be a limit on the amount of lineups you can build.
Yeah, we should be all clear. You are paying for it as the Fantasy Cruncher add-on, so yeah, you will be able to make as much as you want, and you'll have all of our projections and rankings right there with you. So it'll be pretty cool. Pretty excited about that. It's a big little partnership. Fucking kill me. A moderately sized partnership would be the average of both of those, but we're excited. It's a good one. You know, our goal at Osmo is to be the one tool you need to kind of conquer this industry, or at least, you know, make a profitable side hobby out of it. And I think having that all in one place is a very good marriage of the things that you need to be successful. So we're looking for that.
Marcos in the chat, Acuna Matata. It means no worries. In my translation, it said it means no homers.
It's weird how much you don't like Acuna. Like, I love Acuna, and you're a Braves fan, and I would have thought you would have liked him more, but you were like, he's not even that great of a prospect, all that stuff.
Oh, I'm not. I mean, he's been raking as a child in the majors. He's been outstanding. Like, all jokes aside, he's a fantastic baseball player for the Braves.
He's fun, too. Like, I don't know. Like, there are certain guys who I feel like bring an energy to the field. I think baseball's done a better job highlighting them this year, coincidentally on the year that I'm paying the most attention, I guess, but I do feel like he's one of those guys who has kind of an infectious energy, and he hits. And like when he got hit by that pitch by Urania, I was mad too. That was a dick move.
Yeah.
Team Acuna for everybody.
25% expected ownership on DK for Acuna today. I don't see that.
I feel like pretty much everybody hitting leadoff though has a lot of ownership. Like McKinney, we had it almost 40% at one point. Like I think it makes sense because all these guys are pretty good hitters for the most part who are hitting leadoff.
No, I don't disagree with that at all.
Marcos has 0 Acuna. He's not worried about him either. So there you go. Marcos is actually on your side, despite his Acuna Matata.
Acuna Matata. It means no homers. I want to get that shirt made, man.
We need to sell merch in general, I think. I think we could sell some logo stuff and some general DFS bullshit things. Maybe some various phrases we have from our show. Sell a Chubster shirt.
I just got to get this stuff printed for myself just so I could wear it. Acuna Matata, it means no homers is fantastic. There's a logo in there somewhere, and that's really all I need.
I would like to have a Chubster 6'9" jersey. I would want. I would wear it on the show many days.
68.
And then you owe him one?
Yeah. Shout out 2 Chainz.
The baseball savant's pick is in. He is going with Anthony Rizzo. He of the controversial home run, which is now I officially just reflected it on the sheet because I don't want to deal with controversy. And frankly, I'm going to win this anyway because as my Ohtani pick proved, I'm clearly the injured and befuddled player whisperer. So
I'm happy you came around on that because I really do think that that's a legitimate pick. We had a show, we made the pick. I get where you're coming from, but like it's not like Jake just said it in Slack or something. It was It was on an official medium.
But I think too, like it was a day we're off, and it was a morning slate where like I just didn't have a shot at that home run. So that's where it hurts.
You just chose not to participate.
Oh yeah, let me fucking wake up at 6 a.m. on my day off to prepare to pick home runs. Get out of here.
Yo, look, sometimes you gotta grind harder, you know?
Oh, fuck that. Whatever. I'll beat Jake the old-fashioned way. I feel like we should start counting the double dongs as actual multiple home runs. Then I would be in the lead. Then I'd feel real pretty. Actually, I think I'd be tied.
I would be amenable to that if we didn't decide it immediately after the first one, which was in like early May.
It's tough. Like I didn't advocate, even though that was my guy who had the double dong, and I sometimes I need to advocate more for future Chris. That's what I've learned.
I really do like the idea of it being. We're trying to pick someone that will dong for the day. I don't think like just getting that right. I think is the fun part of it. And then if you have 3 guys that hit 2 in a day, I think it makes up for it.
Yeah, no, you're right. I do think that we need to maybe I think we might need to take the no cores rule and some of the stuff off the table, because like Story, we were both going to pick Story, and like there's no reason to not pick a guy who's going to have 3 home runs when Jake and I both felt strongly about it.
Oh, I think like when this rolls around for baseball season next year, we'll blow it out and create some big like let's make a deal type like graphic where things boop all over the place, and all of a sudden just pops up the 3 dudes that we have. We could have the same dude, like we just won't talk about it. Like I like that. Blind ballots and stuff. We can get really crazy about this. I mean, we kind of came up with this on the fly, so.
And now we're betrothed into it, and we are beholden, and it is stressful. It is stressful. Josh's cold streak's getting a little lengthy.
Yeah. And you know what? It's coinciding with a comparable cold streak in actual performance. So,
ooh, might be an episode of The Process. You got to fix yourself. Only on The Process.
Can't get a team right, man.
Brandon T. Chris loses by 1 home run. Trust me, Brandon T. I am well aware of that possibility, but frankly, people got really pissed. Like that first day where I was like, I feel like I had a normal reaction, which is that we do it on Live Before Lock. That's where the home runs count. And it's like one guy in the chat called me scum, and I was like, that's a bit of a harsh take. Like, I don't think that's a scum move for me to not want to count that. But anyway,
make that guy a moderator.
That guy needs to take a chill pill for fake home run games on live streams.
Speaking of games during streams, we had a contest yesterday. Who would win who would guess the closest to Michael Kopech's fantasy points on FanDuel yesterday? And we have a winner.
Drum roll.
I spoiled it before because I was sharing it, but Dana Forden, whoever you are, if you're here, if you hear this, congratulations. You've won a free month at Osimo.
Woo! Good job, Dana. That was a bold pick. We did say yesterday, I said with Jake on the stream yesterday that going Price is Right rules and trying to go 0 or 1 might be a smart move. And
we had a couple people go into the negatives, and there was a time where that was incredibly feasible.
I love that was a contest that was that like you had to pick this guy's points, and he was fucking terrible.
It could have been worse. He could have been Tyler Glasnow.
That is true. That was your joke about him. If it were like a DFS golf thing, that was pretty funny. I enjoyed that. Tyler Glasnow was bad.
Yeah, Dana Forden. The official score for Kopech was 7. Dana Forden 6. Nailed it.
Brandon Parker says he guessed 7. Brandon Parker, you must not have guessed on the comments of one of the videos.
I did not. If I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong, but I didn't see a 7 anywhere.
Kopech was a negative. Kopech was not a negative on FanDuel. No. If he was on DK, I don't think he was on DK either.
For Fantasy Cruncher, he was a 7. Brandon Parker, right. Did you guess it on a video? Because if it's here, I'm happy to amend what I just said, but I did not see a 7 on here.
And the ones in the live chat were not guesses that counted.
No, they were
unfortunately. Not. We can't track those adequately. He guessed it on the pod. Sorry, it's got to be on the comments.
Making sure there's not a stray 7 in here.
Control F Brandon Parker.
Well, I just want to make sure no one has a 7, you know?
No, we only care about Brandon Parker. The Brandons are teaming up together. Oh, everybody's seeing it now. There's a 7 near the top.
Brandon Parker. Wait. Who's Mooch? Okay, that makes sense. As you can see, didn't notice that you auto-corrected out of that. So, Brandon Parker, congratulations. You got it on the dot.
Oh,
and you know what? Okay, Dana Forden, if you are in here right now in this chat, and you heard me say you win, and now I just said you lose, you also win. But if you're not here, you'll never know that.
Yeah, you know, you got to be a real fan when we do these giveaways. If you're not watching every day, we'll just dick you over for a guy who we missed the first time.
Yeah, well, like I cruised by it because it didn't say Kopech. It just said Mooch.
Yeah, you got to... I mean, if we were being sticklers, you would have to get the name right with the points, but Brandon Parker's in here.
He followed right up with another correction of just Kopech, so, you know, I get it.
For first content. But there we go. Congratulations, Brandon Parker. You are the winner. Dana Forden, whatever your name is.
If you are in here right now, get in contact with me, and you will both get that free month. Otherwise, Brandon Parker, good work. Nailed it on the dot. Brandon.
That was fun. There we go. Our first little giveaway. We'll have more. We actually just hired a social media manager, so I'm pretty sure we'll have more giveaways and free stuff coming. So,
Brandon, email me, josh@awesemo.com, and we'll get you straightened out.
There you go. Dana is my second account. Marcos with your lies. Mr. Jacob Jacoby asking about the FanDuel game, which I believe is now locked. Are there weather issues in Cincinnati?
If there are, I didn't care about it. Now, there are, but nothing that I'm super worried about.
Okay. Hire me and I'll make your gear. Kunal, we are hired way too many fucking people. But if you want to do something for free and send some designs in to the emails, to the support@Awesemo email, we'll take a look. And if there's anything good, I'm sure we could pay you by design if you actually do that. Let's see. You should give away an FC add-on too. Hey, 20 Rick, how about we give away enough today? How about you pay for that? We are getting it away for free, though, to all premium members this weekend. So there you go. Let's talk more actual slate stuff, because I feel like we've been doing a lot of plugs and since we talked to Alex. What are we doing? What are we doing for our slates? Who do we feel the worst about right now in terms of stacks or pitchers?
Worst?
Yep.
That would be the Atlanta Braves and one Ronald Acuna.
Really? All right.
Like, why? I'm not even trying to be funny, though, but I think the Braves are the worst option on the slate, and Acuna at chalk 25% I think would be one of the worst plays to follow up with. This has nothing to do with you picking him or anything, but I just wouldn't want 25% Acuna in this spot.
Okay, that's fair. But I mean, but you have no issue with the super highly owned Billy McKinney, though?
I have significantly less issue with McKinney than I do Ronald Acuna. Ronald Acuna is $5,000. Billy McKinney is $3,600.
I was gonna say, I assume it's just a price thing, but
one of those guys is facing Zach Greinke, the other is facing Justin Bieber's brother. So I'll take the cheaper guy against the shittier pitcher.
Okay, I'm with you there. I do think that's the thing too. I have found it tempting to fade McKinney though, just because, I mean, as we've discussed before, fading any hitter who's super highly owned tends to usually be a pretty okay strategy for the most part. But he is really well priced, and Bieber, again, very, very bad versus lefties. And I've kind of come off of that his last couple starts, but I'm ready to go back today because got to go somewhere.
Yeah, Bieber is the start. Like, I mean, there's 6 teams, so you're going to have some of most. But I have more Bieber over the field than I have anyone else over the field for pitching.
Okay, so you are sort of pivoting off of the McKinney chalk then, because I think McKinney is the highest owned guy right now who's not a pitcher,
right? That I don't know. I have 22% McKinney, so I'm pretty significantly under the field, but still, I mean, I don't want to say he's like a must roster because I'm obviously only putting him in like a fifth of my lineups, but to exclude him on a 3-game slate would be silly. Like, I want some shares. He's still good. I just don't need him in 37% of my lines.
Actually, I was wrong, Lindor. At least I didn't check our ownership while we've been on the stream, but the most recent ownership, Lindor is slightly higher owned than McKinney. McKinney is the number 2 most owned, though, so that is something.
20 Rick, we're probably not handing out any lifetime deals. Last time there were lifetime deals around anything with Awesemo, we got yelled at by fan vice people for a weekend.
They do love yelling. They do love yelling at us.
Love you, fan vice people. We're all good now. But yeah, lifetime deals are never going to work out for anyone.
No.
The Raiders are going to hate a 10-year deal shortly.
What about pitchers? Which pitcher do you feel the least confident in?
Steven Strasburg. Well, let me be more specific. I don't have any Gaviglio.
Right.
Like, Gaviglio's in a really bad spot. Strasburg, I'm just terrified about.
Yeah. Gaviglio in a bad spot and a bad pitcher, mostly. I would say, I mean, he's pretty clearly the worst pitcher on the slate, I would think, right? There's nobody. I mean, less. Yeah.
I mean, if we're counting just the DK slate, then yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, counting just the DK slate for me.
Yeah. I don't think it's even close.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I agree.
He's got probably the most difficult offense to face. I mean, you can make a case for the Cubs or the Nats, but Indians are difficult at best or at worst.
Here's a question. I mean, this is just a me question, but I'm just because I'm looking at it right now. But I do think it's a tough question, especially for you, because if you're not going against Greinke at all, what are you doing at catcher?
I don't know. Find out.
To me, Suzuki is the guy who I'm okay playing because, like, he's a good hitter. He's a trustworthy guy. He's probably going to give me some points at least. Like, he'll draw a walk or get a hit.
I have no Suzuki.
Oh, okay.
But again, that shouldn't be shocking at this point based on my Brave stance. Wilson Contreras, I have 40%. Yan Gomes, 38%. Jeff Mathis, 19%. That's essentially it. A couple shares of Spencer Kaboom for the Nats. But yeah, it's Contreras and Gomes.
Name for Kaboom is the best name for a player who's arguably the worst catcher on the Nationals. I mean, he's worse than Matt Wieters, and I hate Matt Wieters.
If you would have tried to say that he was better than Wieters with a straight face, I would have started running to the West Coast like Forrest Gump.
No, I do. You turn me on Matt Wieters a little. I still think Flowers is a better hitter than Matt Wieters, and I will stand by that for probably as long as Tyler Flowers' career lasts. But Wieters is definitely a better player than they better
allow me to do Wieters' Hall of Fame speech.
You are his ride or die. You are his bottom chick. You've been with him for a minute now.
I have been.
Matt Wieters, daddy, hit me home run, daddy. That's cute.
Oh my God. Sean V, I'm pretty sure Wilson Contreras homers off of Strasburg. That's the first time I've said something in here, and Sean V was like, that might go well for you.
I'm surprised that Sean V actually would advocate for Wilson Contreras given how bad he's been hitting lately.
I'm tempted to see if you'll let me change my home run to Wilson Contreras now.
I would absolutely allow that.
I will never do that because I would bet my life that Yonder Alonso homers after that, and I can't be a part of that. I just can't.
I think using the Sean V recency bias chart that I created, Wilson Contreras doesn't look that good, and neither does Yonder Alonso. So they're even picks on the Sean V chart.
20, Rick, you are so far away from this going off the rails. Trust me.
Yeah, you missed the Dictator show, which is actually one of my favorites that we've done. I enjoyed our power ranking of dictators.
Yeah, this is light.
Or the time we got in trouble, which we'll never discuss again. But there is one show which is also a lot of fun, which I got lightly chided for.
As we should have.
Possibly. You better ask for likes looking a little low. Sure. Give us likes. I mean, it is what it is. Short slate.
It's not that kind of day. We would appreciate it, but this is not the slate of viewership.
Sunday morning though, gear up because we want a lot of likes Sunday morning because we're working Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, you'll get Laffy and Ben from like 10:45 until noon. And then you'll get myself and Chris on here breaking down the final hour before lineups lock for the first week of the NFL season. I'm fucking pumped.
I am so ready. I've been making lineups over the last 2 weeks. Now I'm really tightening them up. Got a lot of lineups going. A lot of max 20 entries on DK, which I'm excited for because I think that levels the playing field a little bit. And the amount of research that I've done that Josh and I have discussed on these videos over the course of a month and a half almost. Maybe more, actually. Boy, I'm ready. Also, check out my column. The slant and go. Josh,
I almost said the switch and hedge. I was just like, whatever.
I just had to come up with so I was like really laboring over a name, and I figured I'd go with another and name. But yeah, the Slant and Go is my new NFL column. Go check it out. It's like 6,000 words, so it's a pretty good toilet read if you're a guy at work just shitting on a stall. Just read that during that. But it's a lot of breakdowns, a lot of the data that I've been kind of mining over the last 2 months that I just put out there. And as I mentioned on the stream yesterday, Alex Collins is my guy who I feel like is a very sneaky play, and I will be touting him in every stream that we do because I think he's the dude. But lots of other information in there besides Alex Collins. So go check it out, please. Who wins tonight, Falcons or Eagles? Well, we do have a live stream coming up after us who's going to break that down at length with Laffy and Andrew. But for me, I think I would probably go Eagles.
My heart and my head say Falcons. The Falcons.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it is a nice contrarian pick to go Falcons on the Eagles championship night, but the Eagles haven't looked that great. I was, the preseason
that is not a contrarian play. Falcons are the favorites in this game, sir.
Are they now? Oh, I guess it's been close to a pick 'em, right, for most of the time.
It was -1 last I looked. Oh, Eagles now -1. Okay, never mind. I spoke too soon. That was mine. It was Falcons -1 earlier today.
There you go. Yeah, no, I think it's moved around a little bit here. The Eagles didn't look that good in the preseason. Not that matters. It's not everything, especially for a team who just won the Super Bowl. But it worries me a little. The one thing, though, that I am banking on is us talking about the Falcons that one day. I don't think the Falcons defense is long for the world this year. So I have a lot of Aguilar, a lot of Ertz, a lot of those guys. Not so much the running game, but the passing game very much.
When Laffy and I did our show this morning, Falcons were favored. Laffy is an Eagles fan, and I was telling him how that was a really terrible stance to take in life.
Eagles fans are at their most cocky right now because, which Bill Simmons talks about at length, or has talked about at length on a couple of podcasts this week. But all the Eagles fans I know are like riding as high and just talking shit to everyone, and
it's so uncomfortable. Really, it's so
weird.
Uncomfortable. That's why I said I really enjoyed like an entire lifetime of their demise. And when I was in school, like I was on the East Coast. I was like 45 minutes from Philly when they won the World Series, and it was one of the worst nights of college for me. I love their suffering.
I think I've said this on the stream before, but my first memory of Philly sports is when Michael Irvin was getting paralyzed, or was like they thought he was paralyzed during a game against the Eagles, and they carted him out. He's like got the whole thing on. He's got the neck brace. They're like trying to steady his body just in case he actually is like broken spine. And Philly fans cheered like loudly.
I was at the game.
Yeah, that's right, because we talked about that before. Yeah. But yeah, I remember that was like traumatic for me. I was like, I'll never Philly fans.
They were throwing shit at Dion because he was praying during the game. It was fantastic. My dad was decked out head to toe in Cowboys gear, so a few very nice Eagles fans were letting him know that he was a piece of shit. So that was fun for a 12-year-old child.
That's funny. Yeah, no, Eagles fans, I admire their passion. They care about sports more than anything, and I think that's great. But boy, they do not win or lose with class. It's the one thing you could definitely say about Philadelphia fans. Bell will probably sign Saturday. I didn't see that news yet. It's interesting.
I hope he does.
I hope he doesn't, because I think a lot of people are going to play Connor, and I don't think Connor's actually that good.
Ooh, I'm fine with it tomorrow at that price point. I mean, not in like any sorts of like crazy amounts of volume or anything. Brown's defense is very good against the run, but it's just like there's too many opportunities for someone at that price point.
I think for me, I would fade Connor and go, like, assuming that Bell doesn't get in, I would fade Connor and go to Brown or Juju. I just don't think. I think that game's going to be a little closer than it seems, and I don't think Connor's good. I don't think he can catch the ball that well, but I'm willing to be proven wrong. I just don't want to. If he's going to be like 30% or something, and again, our ownership projections will be out on Saturday, so we'll know a little more then. But for now, I don't know. I imagine him being 30% or 40%, and I just don't want a part of that. Let's see. Anything good? All right, get your questions in. If you have any little either ors, I don't know what either ors are going to have, but get them in.
Yeah, it's rare that we don't have. I mean, like we've lost a lot of people already. It's rare that we don't have both sites to talk about. So, I mean, I guess I could keep tweaking DK. So let's go over everything that I have, and we'll see if we think it's crazy and give us something to do for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna finish my quarter lineups and just put in the same shit because I don't really care at this point.
So I'm more than double the field on the Cubs tonight. That's my stance. If that breaks the way that I would like it to, which is Strasburg blowing up, I'm gonna be doing the billionaire strut. So there's a decent chance that Strasburg throws a fucking gem now. I'm pretty significantly over the field on the Indians as well.
It seems like based on your picks, the moves are to go with a Strasburg-Gaviglio pairing at pitcher and then make sure you have Acuna in at outfielder.
You know what? That sounds pretty reasonable.
I have thought, I mean, just because, thinking the way we do, doing the stream every day, I have thought, like, I should just play Gaviglio and just, like, and to see what happens. Because, like, who fucking cares on a slate like this? And I do feel like it is a thing where I don't think Gaviglio is a good pitcher. I don't think it's a good spot. But just knowing how DFS goes, it wouldn't shock me if Gaviglio had a good enough day and that was, like, the thing you have to do.
Sean V, Strasburg won't blow up. Sean V, I don't know if you watched the morning video. There are some very telling signs about his health in his data. Velocity down, release point dramatically different, both vertically and horizontally from what it was previously. He's admitted himself something's not right with him. That's a lot of signs pointing in a weird direction. It's even weirder to me that he's projected to be 50% owned against the Cubs. Like,
yeah,
I'm running away from that. I honestly am a little surprised. Like, I thought about nerfing him even more than I did, but I think having 16% is relatively reasonable.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, 50% ownership on anybody, though. I mean, though you like Greinke, and Greinke's going to be higher.
I have 60% Greinke.
Yes, you're above the field on Greinke. I don't know.
Strasburg in elite form, 327 Sierra. Yeah, look, normally that'd be something that I would say, but it's not bearing out in like his physical profile. Josh, you got to go 100% Cub stacks. I have 34% Cub stacks, and the field is at 16. So I mean, that's good.
Fair enough.
More than double the field on almost every hitter. I've got 57% Daniel Murphy. I've got 40% Baez. I've got 39% Almora at 14% ownership. Like I'm balls deep in everybody but Addison Russell. So cue the Addison Russell donger. Brandon Parker, Josh at awesemo.com.
Almora is one of my least favorite plays on the day, which I mean doesn't affect. I do have some Cubs too, and probably not as much as you do. But Almora has been very, very bad lately, and I don't know. I feel like he's also not good enough to justify me thinking he's going to get out and being very bad lately.
Very reasonable stance to take, I think.
Yeah, I think out of that group, he's my least favorite Cub, like by a fairly large margin. Strasburg will give up a couple runs. I just don't see blow up. On this slate, a couple runs might be the equivalent of a blow up.
Yeah, that's fine. Did I play PGA? I did. I played a little bit on DK, and I stepped in a little bit of a pile of shit. I'm not playing a ton of like big level shit, but I am sitting in third through day one in one of the tournaments. So it's enough to save me right now. It's a long way away from Sunday night though. So
interesting. Yeah, we did have some good. I saw Nolan Kelly, who was one of our guys who covers golf for us. I guess we have multiple guys now. I don't even know if we have multiple guys. I think we do.
We got a lot of golf coverage.
Well, not writing wise. I think, Nolan writes a lot of the stuff. He writes the approach for us. I saw him tweeting that our rankings were apparently doing very well in the tournament thus far.
Yeah, we've got Andrew's projections. We've got ownership projections and rankings from Alex. Ben writes an article. Nolan writes an article. Andrew and Ben talk golf. They have a Wednesday pre-lock golf show. Yeah, we're like the force of DFS golf content.
We really turned a weakness into a strength very quickly. You're the best PGA in the business. Thanks, D. Kiefer. I know PGA is not one I play, so maybe at some point, but probably not. I feel like we're at the end of the year now anyway, right?
Yeah, but it starts back up in like a week and a half.
Oh, what the fuck? it's hard to keep track.
It doesn't really end all that much. It takes a couple like tiny breaks through the winter, but look, it'll be ramping right back up shortly.
All waiting for the big Tiger Phil Mickelson pay-per-view anyway, I'm sure.
I'm gonna watch the living shit out of that. I don't know about you.
I might. I don't know. I'm not much of a live golf watcher, so I'm not sure about that, but it's possible. It's certainly possible. Lindor. All right, Lindor, get your ass in that lineup, buddy.
I think it's going to be fun. I hope the crowd is like a Happy Gilmore crowd, though.
I think it's just kind of sad, like, that they're both... I mean, they should be able to do whatever they want. They can cash in on whatever. But I think it is kind of sad that this is where Tiger is. Like, if he were still an elite player, and Phil too, honestly, if they were elite players, they wouldn't be doing this. But now it's like, okay, we're still on the cusp of eliteness, and people, obviously, brand names are recognizable. Let's just cash in one more time and play a fucking skins game for $30 or something. Like, it's a crazy pay-per-view rate, I think, is what they're trying to charge too.
And I assume they'll get it, which is interesting to me. Makes me think, what is the future of sports and golf if Phil and... Like, I know this is going to be... there is a tie to the PGA, but it's interesting to me what the future is here or in tennis or any real sport where maybe the individuals can cut out the owners.
Yeah, that's true of everything content-wise now. It's like there's a lot of individual providers out there who make stuff. So I think it is, and that you're right. I think it is interesting. But like, for golf people, it also makes sense because golf people spend so fucking much money.
Yeah, that is one point. Like, imagine if Federer and Nadal agreed to do this across a hard court, grass and clay.
And people would buy that. Absolutely.
So, like, it's interesting to me to think about where this could go.
It's sort of the Bellatorization of sports, though, which is not the best.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I think that's one of the things. I'm not a huge, like, MMA, like, oh, yeah, you can't fucking, don't mess with the sanctity of MMA kind of guy. But, like, those Kimbo Slice, like, Data 500 fights or 5,000, whatever he was, where they both almost died, like, and some of the other matches they're still putting on now, or even the Liddell Tito Ortiz match that, like, De La Hoya is promoting now, like, it's a little sad, and I feel like that could be where you go with sports, is like just guys that are kind of sad, but you still want to watch them because they're big personalities.
Or you get Logan Paul out here, who I don't know who he is or anything about him. I just know that he had the fight, but
did 1 million buys almost, and
probably multiple million of fucking people stealing it on Twitch.
Yeah, that was a big thing. Jake Paul versus Sage Northcutt. Sage Northcutt would obliterate Jake Paul. You could say what you want about Sage. That is a professional
fuck him up.
fighter.
So he wouldn't last a minute.
No, Sage Northcutt would break Jake Paul's arm or choke him out within literal seconds.
That dude looks like he has a fake body.
Yeah, Sage is a weird guy. He should have been a bigger breakout star, but I feel like the MMA guys just hated him so much. He's such a pretty boy.
Well, he is inherently unlikable. Not because of, like, being an unlikable person, but he is just naturally difficult to root for.
You got to be like a really great, lovable dude if you're going to be that handsome and chiseled.
Yeah, it's too, like, wholesome.
Sage has no ground game. I'll take the over 0.5 rounds for Jake. 20, Rick. That's crazy. Sage has more than enough ground game to take down Jake Paul.
He's not going to have to. He's going to blast his face off. Oh my God. It's not even... It would be a brutal beating. A brutal beating.
Yeah, no, that's a bad take, 20, Rick. And I'm a person who thinks that Ronda Rousey could probably beat up Floyd Mayweather. But I mean, that also is the same criteria. If you're a trained MMA fighter, you can beat up most people because even if you're not that good at the ground game, you're better than everybody.
Well, I'll always give grapplers a shot because, like, you grab a hold of someone, a lot of times they're not going to know what's what.
You're right. Right, yeah.
If Ronda Rousey puts her arms around Floyd Mayweather, she's going to flip him on his ass. Like, it's just going to happen. He has never really attempted to not have that happen. But if he hits her, she's going to crumble into a pile of goo.
20, Rick. Jake was a high school wrestler, bro. Disrespect.
It wouldn't last a minute.
I'd love to see it though. I'm with you on that. Who wins in golf, Josh or Chris? I'm not a great golfer, but I don't think Josh is either. So that'd be a terrible matchup.
I was on the golf team in high school.
Oh, were you? Oh, so definitely Josh then. I can drive it, but like my short game is terrible.
I'm not saying that I was good while doing that, but I played.
Even the most basic training, I think, would beat me at golf. I'm good on a best ball situation at a bachelor party. That's where you want me on your team. I'll drive a couple there. People be like, wow, and everything else will be fucking awful.
Now, if we play mini golf, I'm going to fuck you up.
Yeah, I'm unequivocally. I'm okay at that, though. That is one where I feel like I'm competitive, but probably not against somebody who's actually good. We should get off. We got Laffy and Andrew coming up next. They're going to break down. They're going to talk some week one. They're going to break down the showdown game a little more depth for you guys. We are going to be back tomorrow talking MLB. Josh and I will be back Sunday as well, doing a little live before lock for the NFL at 12 p.m. Eastern. Laffy, and is that Andrew then too on Sunday?
Nope. Sunday will be Ben and Laffy.
Ben and Laffy. Sunday will be Ben and Laffy before us, but we will be back Sunday. Josh and I will be your NFL duo going against all the heavyweights on TV here for you, doing our banter. We'll probably do a weird Friday show equivalent. Just because, it's NFL season. You got to get excited, got to get weird. But we'll be back with you guys then. Make sure to become a premium member of Awesemo.com. We do have the free trial of Fantasy Cruncher coming up this weekend, where you will get our rankings and ownership projections on a brand new version of Fantasy Cruncher, which will be available for our premium members on Saturday. So he's scheduled to be available on Saturday. So go sign up now. Be ready for that. We'll have more information disseminated through all the usual channels. And any final words, Josh, before we give it to the other guys?
That's everything. Go Cubs.
Cool. Thanks, guys. We'll see you again soon. Keep it tuned for Laffy and Andrew.
Later.